My name is Johnny Knoxville, and this is the high five. This is all flour for our friend Bam. We're going to antique him when he gets here.
Okay.
Okay. What's up?
Not much. How you been? High five!
Well, those guys really were jackasses. Welcome to Flynndogg Woodwork. Today, I've got another 5 unique tools that I think are worth taking a look at. Each one of these tools has some unique features that I think might benefit you in your shop. So let's not waste any time and dig into these tools. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be giving away 3 of the very last tool we take a look at. So make sure you stick around to the very end so you can be entered in to have a chance to win this tool. I'll be giving you a secret word for you to put in the comments so that you have a chance to win this amazing gadget. But that's enough about that. Let's get started with our first tool. So have you ever gone to a lumber store to buy a sheet of plywood only to realize that your feeble muscles can't handle maneuvering that sheet?
Be safe.
Well, I know I have. A full sheet of plywood or MDF can weigh as much as 70 pounds. So I've tried to remedy this problem by buying an accessory that will help me maneuver these sheets of plywood around my shop or the hardware store. Now, a tool I featured in the past on this channel is the Sheets Good lifting clamp made by 5 Piers. This clamp straddles your plywood, and when you lift up on the handle, it clamps down on the plywood. Then you have a handle to lift your plywood. And this little device works pretty well, but the problem is you're still carrying the entire weight of that plywood. So in between watching other woodworking YouTube channels talk about how great the Jackery is, I Googled deep and I found another solution. So what is the solution? Well, let's go find out. So this tool is called the Ply Wheel. Let's dig into this tool and see how it works. So this tool really couldn't be any more simple. It's just a dolly on 2 3-inch wheels. And this tool is made to accommodate almost any thickness of plywood. Let's take a closer look. If we take an overhead view of this tool, you can see there's little step notches on the dolly. This allows you to accommodate any thickness of plywood. You can do 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch all the way up to 3/4 of an inch. You can even accommodate 6/4 lumber. You might also notice there's a curved profile on the inside. This allows you to more easily slide your plywood onto this dolly. So let's give this a test and slide this plywood onto this dolly. So with this dolly in place directly in the center of gravity of the plywood, I can easily maneuver this plywood wherever I want to go. I can also make 360-degree turns very easily. And unlike using plywood clamps or gator grips, there's no effort in holding this plywood up off the ground. So I've got a new favorite for maneuvering my plywood around. Now I just have to put this plywood back. Well, I love interesting designs like that. I hope you do too. That takes us through our first item, so now let's start talking about our second item. So a few years back, I made 3 dresser drawers for my 3 boys, and this took me a lot of time. I used some amazing wood for this project, and I put my heart and soul into those dressers. And when I was essentially done with these dressers, there was one last thing I had to do, and that was to put the hardware on, to put the handles on each one of those drawers. And I eyeballed this. I spent hours just looking at those drawers to make sure that all the handles were perfectly aligned. And I knew there were solutions for this, however, I just couldn't justify spending this type of money for that tool. And yes, there's a lot of cheaper versions of this tool out here. In fact, I just saw this one for $10. However, these are made entirely out of plastic.
I'm not sure what I'd look like if I hadn't done it, so I'm happy.
And that plastic is going to bend, so you could end up with diagonal drawer pulls after you spent all that time making your drawers. So I got on the interwebs and tried to find a reasonably priced one of these that's made out of metal, and I found one. So what is this tool? Well, let's check it out. So this tool is the Cabinet Drill Guide made by Hadrmi. So my first impressions with this tool is I was quite impressed that it came in a zipper pouch so that you can keep all the pieces together. So let's take a look at what comes in that pouch. As you can see, there's 2 metal rulers that are both in inches and centimeters. There's also 3 drill guides that will allow you to make your holes for your hardware. There's also a little hanger that you hang this tool off the top of your drawer face. There's also a drill bit as well as 2 hex keys. So now let me assemble this so that we can see how this works. So here's the jig fully assembled. As you can see, the hanger will hang off the very top of your drawer. There's also drill guides that you'll align with your hardware so that you can have your drawer perfectly aligned with the handle. So let me show you how this works by installing some hardware on this piece of scrap wood. So the very first thing that we need to do is to make sure that the bottom ruler is completely centered on the jig. And you can see here I've got the 0 mark lined up with the 2 white notches. Once that's done, it's time to align 2 of the drill guides to accommodate your hardware. In this case, this is a 3-inch drawer pull. So now we'll align both of the drill guides to 1.5 inches on either side, and then we'll lock them down. After that, we can confirm that our alignments are correct by placing our hardware on top. Once we've done that, we now need to place the drawer pull exactly where we want it, in this case, right in the center. So here I've placed an X directly in the center of this drawer face. So what I want to do is to place my guide right on top of my drawer face and adjust the left support and the top support so that that X is directly in the center of this circle. Now with everything aligned and that X directly in the center of the circle, I can now drill out my 2 holes. With those 2 holes perfectly drilled out, now it's just a matter of attaching the hardware. And just like that, we have a perfectly aligned drawer handle with that drawer face without any headaches. And the other nice thing about this tool is it's repeatable. So if you have a bunch of the same size drawers that you need to put the same size hardware on, this thing will do it. So if you're tired of doing a bunch of measurements just to get all your hardware perfectly aligned, check out this tool. It's rock solid and is an affordable solution. Well, I'm pretty impressed with our first 2 items. I know that both of those tools are going to get a heck of a lot of use in my shop. Before we move on to our third, I ask you to do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this small woodworking channel. Now let's move on to our third item. So have you ever seen a tool that reminded you of another tool but you just couldn't place it?
See, they're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's. Huh?
Well, that's what this next tool is all about. So one of my favorite safety tools in the shop is my Jessom stock guide. This tool is great because it holds your wood down as you push it through the table saw, and it cinches your wood close to your table saw fence. It also has a locking mechanism with the wheels that prevent kickback. And it's this wheel design that I really like, so I putzed around the interwebs to try to see if there was any other tools that incorporated this wheel design. And you guessed it, I found something. Now this is something that I envision using at the router table, however you can also use this at the table saw. So let me see if I can catch this tool over at the corner of my shop. So this tool is the adjustable dual feather lock made by CDIY Tool. Let's check it out. So inside this box, you can see that you can get 2 adjustable wheels that will give you support for your workpiece as you push it through your table saw or your router. So these 2 rollers can provide you with vertical support, horizontal support, or both. Let's go over to the router table and dig into this tool. So one of the nice things about this set is you can use the included hardware to fit it into a full-size miter slot, or you can flip it around and use the T-bolts to fit it into T-track. Now over at the router table, I tend to use those T-bolts. So let's install this and I'll show you how it works. Now with this set, you're obviously going to get 2 of them. Now here I have it applying pressure in the vertical position. Now the nice thing about these is you can easily adjust the height just by untwisting this knob, and once you have it to the desired height, you can lock it down. And this will give you plenty of vertical support. Now the nice thing about having 2 of these is you can use them in a variety of different configurations. In that example I just showed you, we were only applying vertical pressure, but you can also use it so you can apply vertical and horizontal pressure. So in setting them side by side, you not only get the vertical pressure, but you also get the horizontal pressure. Now I see myself mainly using these 2 tools over at the router table. However, since they came with those larger miter bars, they'll also work at the table saw. Now when using these guide wheels over at the table saw, they're really only going to provide horizontal support. Another thing to note about these guide wheels is you never want to have them after the table saw blade. That will almost surely cause kickback. So one feature that these guide wheels don't have is the locking features, so they'll slide easily forward and backwards without locking at any time. So this means I'll most likely only use these guide wheels in combination with my Jessom stock guides. These will give the horizontal support as the Jessom stock guide will give the vertical support. Lastly, I really like the angled design of these guide wheels. This allows you to easily adjust them depending on what type of stock you're working with. So if you're looking for just a little bit more support, either at the router table or the table saw, these guide wheels may be the solution for you. They can give you that third hand that you may need for some of your more unique cuts.
Which way to the main chamber?
Well, that takes us through 3 items so far today. This next tool is a tool that I've been really impressed with. In fact, I featured its cousin in a video last week. But in order to do that, we need to talk about personal budgets and the reality of overpriced tools. For this, we need to talk to the birds. So here we are on the floor again, checking out my woodpeckers tools. Now these things are great and completely accurate, but they're usually out of budget for the normal woodworker. So my favorite woodpecker square is the 642. My second favorite square is the 1281, which is the same thing, only it doesn't have any of the notches that the 642 has. Now, would you believe that this 1281 cost $153? Damn! And in order to get the same capabilities as the 642, I'd have to get the 1282. And that 1282 is $189. But what if I were to tell you you could get the same thing for less than half that? Well, no joke, I found almost an exact replica for $89. So who makes this tool? Well, let's find out. So this next tool is the Woodraffic 12-inch precision square. Let's see how it compares to woodpeckers. So inside the box, you're going to get the square itself along with a little mechanical pencil, which is great because it will perfectly fit in these holes. If we look at the square itself, one thing that I really like is the black color with the white graphics. This makes it much more easy to read than a woodpecker square.
You know what they say, once you go black, you're gonna need a wheelchair.
If we take a look at the two squares right next to each other, you can see that they have a very similar design. One feature that I really like on the woodpecker squares is the lip, so you know that this square will be supported when you place it onto your workpiece. You'll also notice that there's little holes running down the entire length of this square at every 1/16 of an inch. And it's those little holes that I'm looking for. That's what this 1281 doesn't have, and I can't justify the price at $189 to buy the 1282. But at a fraction of the price, I can get all the scribing holes I need up to 12 inches with all the features that I love about woodpeckers.
Move over, Bacon. There's something leaner.
And this isn't the only precision square that Woodraffic makes. In fact, I featured another Woodraffic tool on my video last Saturday. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly option that won't break the bank, check out these Woodraffic squares. I think they're going to give woodpeckers a run for their money. Well, that covers 4 tools so far and only one more left to take a look at. And as I said earlier in the video, I'm going to be giving away 4 of these, so stick around to the very end to get that secret word. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a feature video on the Milesly DP20 Pro, and this was one of my first experiences with a digital laser measurement tool. And I learned a lot from making that video. First and foremost, I learned what features I'd want in a laser measurement tool and what features I don't necessarily need. So naturally, I wanted to see what other options are out there for dual laser measurement tools. And this is where I ran into a tool that I think is a bargain at its price point. So let's go take a look at this tool and see how it compares to that Milesly. So this tool is the Bilateral Laser Distance Meter made by Inkerma. So you may have noticed that when I did that Milesly video, I did it inside my house. First and foremost, it was hot as Hades in my shop, but there was also a second reason. As I mentioned in that Milesly video, I had a hard time reading the display of the Milesly with the bright lights in my shop, and you can see from the Inkerma how much brighter that display is. And if you remember from that Milesly video, I reached out to the company to see if there was a way to adjust the brightness, and this tool just doesn't have that capability. And that's what struck me about this inkerma. It's got a bright, easy to read color display that you can read in almost any lighting condition. Not to mention, it's less than half the price of that Milesy. But that's enough about the comparisons. Let's dig into some of the features of this inkerma. So inside the box, you're going to get the laser meter itself along with a nice carrying case. You also get a USB-C cord to charge the device with. So as we said before, this is a dual laser meter. So it's got a laser on both ends to give you an accurate digital measurement between 2 points. In order to take a measurement, you simply press and hold the center button until it takes a measurement. But a simple measurement in between 2 points isn't the only measurement that this thing can do. Now I've turned off some lights, so hopefully you can see this, but this tool allows you to do single measuring, area measuring, volume measuring, Pythagorean method, as well as real-time measuring. This also has an angle finder incorporated into the device. This tool also allows you to rotate the display 360 degrees so that you can read it from any vantage point. And this tool allows you to go imperial and metric, so it's got you covered in both systems. So if you're looking for an affordable bilateral laser distance meter that's accurate and easy to read, inkerma's got you covered. And like I said before, I've got 4 of these to give away, so if you're interested in this product, leave the word nerd in the comments below. Nerd! Well, I hope you enjoyed checking out these 5 tools today with me. I know I really enjoyed showing them to you. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this small woodworking channel. Until next time, take care as always.